You suppose there is such a place, Toto? There must be. It's not a place you can get to by a boat or a train. It's far, far away. Behind the moon, beyond the rain.
You're a wizard, Harry.
If I take one more step, it'll be the farthest away from home I've ever been.
Way up high, and the dreams that you dream of once in a lullaby.
Do or do not. There is no try.
Open the pod bay doors, Cal.
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that. I love you, Margie. I love you, Ingram.
Won't you take me with you?
Why, of course I will.
Hooray! We're off to see a wizard.
Oh, well, you're not starting out very well.
Oh, I'll try. Really, I will.
To Oz?
To us.
Welcome again, everybody, to this episode of One Life's production roadmap to the hero's journey. Last week, we talked about the call to adventure and refusal of the call. This week, we're talking about meeting the mentor. To know or to learn a little bit more about what Meet the Mentor is, Dr. Bill Janishak.
Hey, thanks, Frank. I appreciate that. Yeah, so last time we talked about we get the opportunity. We had our dreams come up. Somebody gave us that opportunity, and we backed off. We told ourselves we don't have enough time, we don't have enough money, we don't have an experience. I'm just not there yet. And we all go through that, and that's why it's a step in the hero's journey. But there's that time where you meet the mentor, and the mentor is usually a sage. And throughout history and all the different stories and myths that have come along, it's usually like the sage old man, or it's the mystical being on the mountain. But nowadays it can be anybody. It can be a motivational speaker, somebody that you've heard. Maybe it's something you hear at church. Maybe it's a book you read, another story where you meet somebody or you come in contact with somebody and they look at you and they say, you know what? I think you can do that. We look back again. I'm a Rocky guy. So we go back in Rocky. Mickey was the mentor, and Mickey came over and said, I got things to teach you. I can help you get to the next level. That's exactly what meeting of the mentor is. It's somebody that's going to give you that seed of inspiration or or you borrow their confidence for a while. They said, I can show you the way where, and we all need this from time to time. It's when they take your hand or they lead the way down the path, and they're taking you from your ordinary world and said, I know where the extraordinary world is and where your dreams lie. And they guide you on that path. With some people, it's one mentor. Some people, it's multiple mentors. But it's somebody outside of you that's going to give you the seed of knowledge, the seed of hope, or something else that's going to finally get you to take that little extra step towards that, from refusing the call to saying, I'm just not ready, to somebody that said, hey, we've all been there. It's time to step up. We're going to try to become somebody that we haven't become, and I'm going to show you how to do that. And they're going to take you there. They're going to hold you on your hand. They're going to walk you to exactly where you want to be and where you need to be. And that's the meeting of the mentor. So on your hero's journey, or whatever you're going through, whether you have a dream that you're chasing, or if something's thrust upon you and you need to do something that you've never done, it's time to play big. Look to see the people around you and how they're calling you to your destiny. When you get that, you listen to the mentor and follow them along the way. We need 20 seconds of courage to take that step in the right direction. And we always move forward. Now, Joe, our great host here, always says action cures everything. And adding on that, Joe, if you could introduce our wonderful mentors and leaders and speakers today and guests today, that would be awesome.
Absolutely. Let me add them to the stage first so everybody at least knows who we're talking about as we come through. So, gentlemen, welcome. Let me do some introductions. So we are thrilled today for our Meeting the Mentor, for two fantastic mentors that everybody needs to meet and learn from. And we're excited to hear their story. Okay, so we have James E. Dixon, aka Superman is for real. Okay, the only thing is he's not afraid of kryptonite. He's a motivational speaker, best-selling author, known for his high-energy speaking engagements. He's the keynote speaker on Absolute Motivation YouTube channel, and he has worked with both Fortune 500 companies and professional sports organization. He's got over 1.5 million subscribers on his YouTube channel. Okay, and he has been viewed over 190 million times on that show. Also, we're bringing in Brian Galke, a distinguished facial feature decoding expert and business coach, emphasizes creating connections in sales training. So very near and dear to my heart, right? With over 20 years of experience, he globally shares his unique insights on communication and body language as a keynote speaker, enhancing interpersonal relationships. So that is the fancy introduction of these gentlemen. But again, James E. Dixon, amazing individual. He's going to amaze you and take you back a step when you hear his voice. Right? It's gonna make you want to get up and go do something. And Brian can tell you all about yourself, right? And other people around you. And I'm excited to hear their story. So I would like to kick us off to the side. James Dixon, I would like you to come up over to the front section here. Switch with me. And then James, welcome to the Hero's Journey Live from One Life Production. How are you?
Hi, everybody. We just jumped out. James had a little technical difficulty, so we moved him inside, got him some better Wi-Fi that's going on. So he is here to share with us his hero's journey. So I want to switch with you, Superman, if you want to jump over here into the front. Boom, just like that. So I'll try to be quiet the whole time. Frank, I can't say he will, but you know.
I'm honored to be here. I want to pick up where we left off. I shared with you that I was 11 years of age. I lost my leg. In losing my leg, it was traumatic because of the fear, not knowing where my life would go. Every one of my hopes, every one of my dreams that one day I would walk, I thought that was lost. My mom standing in front of me, slapping me until I admitted that I was a cripple, was a breaking point. My grandmother cared enough to travel over the state lines by Greyhound bus to be there face to face and tell me, baby, you're Superman. Now, to many people, that may not sound like a great thing, but for me, it was to remind me that I could be a symbol of hope one day. But in order to get to that one day, I had to start with day one. Day one was starting to walk. Day one was believing that I'm going to rehab and that they're going to give me a prosthetic. And one day I'll do all those things that I've dreamed about doing, but it started at day one. That day changed everything because the words she invested in me, the prayers that she put over me, began a pathway that took years to germinate. I wish I could say I started immediately going after all my goals, all my dreams, that it only took one conversation, but it didn't. It took a conversion. And for me, the conversion took almost 30 additional years because I heard her words and I did take my first steps. I played sports and I did all those things, but I was trying to get validation from my mom that one day she might erase those words and say that I was more than a cripple, might eat those words and say, son, you are worthy of love. You went through something, you became something, but I never got that out of her. But what I did get was a sense of shame. I tried to cover it up. And then one day, I got a new prosthetic because insurance rules changed and my existing condition was looked over. I got a prosthetic that gave me energy return and I was finally going to be proud. I'm 45 years of age. I have to lose that give a damn factor about what other people say about me. And if I could silence them, I could take my own voice off mute. And so I started to wear shorts, but I wore them in defiance of everything that had been spoken to me negatively by those who should have been protecting me. Sometimes we go through trials, and when we go through them, the 11-year-old kept showing up. Every time I would try to find courage, the 11-year-old that got slapped would show up, but I needed the 45-year-old to finally step into his destiny. I've been talking the talk and trying to encourage people. Started a YouTube channel telling other people they could overcome, but myself, I was still struggling to finally evolve. So here's the conversion. When I wore those shorts and other people wore them with me to encourage me, I let go of the title of being a cripple and I stepped in to the man who broke through the kryptonite. You see, for me, that day was an altering day. That day, I began to speak with boldness. That day became authentic. Instead of me telling people you can overcome it, I became the overcomer. And the more that I began to talk, the more I began to share, the more people would gather around. And so the channel grew and my opportunities grew. And the job that I was building trucks in a factory for 12 years ended because I started to build people and they were building me. I became a Superman to a whole lot of other people, a symbol of hope. And the more that I began to speak, the more I found my own authentic voice. That voice was an echo of my grandmother's voice the day she walked into that hospital. Now I get to speak to people all over the world. I get to talk to doctors and prosthetists that build the legs. I speak to students and that are one day going to the field. I speak to veterans. I speak to people that whether you're going to the gym or whatever, and all these things that have evolved because I took my voice off mute. My hero's journey goes this way. I was abandoned by my father. My mother resented the fact that she had a crippled child. My grandmother loved me in spite of it all. And eventually I realized that my purpose wasn't rooted in their words, but it was rooted in my own words. I spoke life into myself in the mirror many a mornings. When I would wash my face, I would try to tell myself I'm more than my disability. I kept fighting against that. And finally, that battle, that internal thing, I broke through. Everyone else judged me on my resume. That means the things that I used to be. But your resume doesn't define who you are because you can resume the plan God had for you and that own purpose that you speak over yourself. And that's who I became. I became the best version of myself. And today I serve others. And it gives me meaning. It gives me purpose. It allows me to live up to the title, Superman.
Bro. Wow.
Unbelievable.
I got chills.
Absolutely.
James,
James,
run to a wall, James. Let's go.
I'm gonna jump in too, James. And you are a superhero now, right?
I am an actual one. So they've actually taken a cartoon and given me the most dominant name of any superhero of all time. I mean, better than Superman. My name will resound. My character is one of 4 wonderful characters. It's the Bionic Mania team. They're 2 amputees and 2 arm amputees, so 2 legs. One's an above the knee Asian girl, and then there's a below the knee me. And then there's a guy and a girl who lost opposite sides of their arms. And so, yes, thank you, Joe, for mentioning the fact that, yes, I do have my own cartoon character that's got the most dominant name in history.
Killer.
Wow.
And that name is?
Come on.
Well, okay.
It will. I'm going to warn everybody. There's going to be a lot of, testosterone and male dominance coming forth with this team. That will, shriek fear.
That's right. It's a manly name. It's a powerful name. It's one that embodies all of testosterone. It's not Thanos. I know you're probably thinking that, or anti-Thanos is not. It's Joyful James. And the important thing about that is that the character has a J and it wears a hat, because oftentimes I wear a hat. So yes, thanks for asking.
You kind of said that really quick. Did you say
Joyful
James?
Over a little
Is
bit.
that what that was?
The important thing is it's not the name, it's about what I do, so so they made my character not able, he can't. So Joyful James, they took my personality and they took out all the fighting ability, so my character can't fight. So he's kind of like Robin, he shows up and offers friendship.
Nice. Yeah, that's perfect. Bill, talk to us about this, Bill. Not the superhero part, but yeah.
That is totally awesome. So I'm sitting here and I'm enthralled in your story, like we are with a lot of the great people that we've talked with on here. And this is exactly for everybody listening. I want you to understand that that's why there is a hero's journey, so that you can see yourself in other people's journey. James, your whole story is the hero's journey. Like you said, it's where you started out. That was the ordinary world, how you had to go over, and you had time and time again, you'd have the refusal to call. You had your mentor of your grandmother who spoke those words into you. Then you had to step out and you had to fight yourself, and you had to meet a whole new world.
Yeah.
You go into what we call the inmost cave, which is the inside of you, where there's the 12-year-old over here that's telling you one thing, and then there's the man that knows the other, where you need to go, and the man who you are inside. And your big ordeal, and this is what I want everybody to understand, is your big ordeal is yours. It doesn't have to be that you're going to climb the top of the mountain, or you're going to have to be a superstar. Your big ordeal was wearing shorts. And it wasn't the fact of wearing shorts, but what it represented to you and to everybody else around, because you wearing shorts was standing up when you finally said, screw this and screw everybody else. I'm stepping into myself. And then the death of the old one with any negative thoughts, the guy that stepped in, and it took 30 years.
It did.
It's an amazing story that you, who you are and what you do, and who you're representing is amazing for everybody listening. It's amazing for me. And it's a common, I can't even pronounce it. I'm too excited to pronounce it. It's just everything that's going on in the hero's journey. Why we're bringing this is your story. You're coming home the victor and the transformation, the guy that's changed lives forever. It's the message you're bringing back, and how you are now the mentor to millions.
Man,
this is exactly why we're doing this, is so people can hear your story, so we can bring millions more, because this is important. You the man.
Yeah, Bill, you said something, brother, I wanted to address, if I can, for 1 second. I'll say, taking off those grave clothes. Well, you talked about the death. It's the private funeral that you have to attend. You have to attend it. And when you take off those grave clothes, man, it's the darkness and the cloud that everyone else has draped on the outside of you. But there's something about, man, when you take that off and you realize that, man, I still got a light. and I got a reason to beam. There's too much been invested in me for me to just let that die. They've said that the graveyard is full of talents and abilities that it's the wealthiest place with all the resources that went there. But the truth is, the only one that's still available is the one in us who are alive. I've got to fulfill that destiny, that potential, that thing that gnaws at night, that causes me to wake up and dream. 192 million people have viewed my speeches, man. That was never even something I fathomed. I never thought that one person would hear. But 192 million, because I took my own voice off mute. But I had to leave the grave. What you're talking about, that journey, man, my 11-year-old self couldn't fathom it. But it had to believe that Superman could be real for me to fulfill this. You guys are helping change a lot of lives. I'm just honored to be here.
Yeah, I'm overwhelmed with having you as part of this and having your story and how you're impacting millions. You think about it, a couple of years ago, you've impacted about the total population of the United States.
Wow.
Yeah.
Brother, that's since March.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
So
62 million last month. Look, I think the reason why it resonates is like one of the greatest persuasive people on earth is Joe Ingram, right? Because he teaches people how to sell without being sold, without losing your dignity and self-esteem or feeling like your role and identity are different, right? He does that. But man, the greatest sales job was for me to realize that I had value and I had undervalued myself. And that if I could convince myself of my own value, I'd realize I'm priceless. And the moment you do that in your life, you realize that, man, the hell you've been through qualified you to be an expert. The scars, the thing you're ashamed of, is the very thing that can make you a name and make you have fame. You don't chase fame, you chase becoming your best you, and you find out that you are the hero.
No, absolutely. And one of the things that really resonates with your stories too is sometimes it's the family, the people closest to you, to us, with their best intentions for the level that they're at. They're the ones that are keeping you down. And this is exactly, I think, why we created One Life Productions, is so that we could bring the people that don't have that community together. Yeah. And I think it's a perfect analogy of the whole hero's journey, and what you've done is amazing.
And I think, James, one of the things that resonated with me is that you actually started, you mentioned that you were preaching it, you were saying that these are the things, and then you eventually stepped into that light. So you were healing the 11-year-old version of you in there by telling everybody else, this is possible. You can do this. You can do this. And then at that one point, you finally answered the call and said, I am going to fully step into this role. I am going to be Superman. I am going to take it to that next level. And then, all the walls in front of you, blew apart. And now you're at that 190 million plus and going probably more by the time this airs in there. And, and you took that last step, but it started with you saying, I was hurting. I was in a bad place. I didn't like that. And I don't want other people to feel that same way. And I'm going to do something about it. And that's your power. And you could feel your passion that flows through you. Like it's something you experience, but something that you are completely a different person than you were back then.
And Frank, I thank you not only your words and what you're saying, and forgive me, I get emotional every time I talk, man. And it's not because it's raw or fresh. It's because, man, I keep my hand on that pulse, right? I never want to forget where I came from. I don't want to get used to it. I know my purpose. I'm living it out. I arrived to my purpose late, but it's not late, because all the years that I was there waiting to do this, I was actually sharpening my axe. So to cut down the tree in less time, the opportunities that come as a result of a hard work that was put in every night, not an overnight, right? But I would say this, that there's something else that was said here just a moment. You said it's people's best intentions. My father was telling me there's no way I could be his because he viewed perfection to be able-bodied. He saw his son playing sports. And to see a kid that never walked before he was 11 was a disappointment because of an expectation or an image he had in his head. My mother said that I was a cripple because she never saw me do anything. In fact, I may have mentioned this when watching the Magic Johnson announce that he had HIV, that she said, I wish it were you rather than him. And I was 17. I had already been walking and all those things because they didn't see what I could be. That's why a community like this one, you become the grandmother for me to a whole lot of people. You speak life into people. You give us something that we couldn't get elsewhere. People say blood is thicker than water, and they misinterpret that. It's not saying that my blood relatives are closer than anyone else. It's saying blood shed in battle with someone makes me closer than the embryonic fluid of a twin. My blood that's shed with you, the things you guys speak over people's lives, what you're helping with, thank you, the three of you, for being that echo of my grandmother for everyone else.
Wow. I want to put up, because I actually wrote this down, right? Lose the give a damn syndrome, right? You said that early on, and I stop and I think, and I'm like, if you look at it, it took you years to get there. I do believe that if you look, some people work their whole lives to get to the point where they're good enough to start the journey, right? Yours was thrust upon you early, right? Did it take you a long time to get there? No, it took you the right amount of time, right? Because when you look, when it hit March, what has happened in your life?
Oh man!
Right? You're now traveling everywhere. You're speaking life into people all over the United States, all over the world with your YouTube channel, right?
Yeah.
All of this, but you started putting your voice out there early on, right? And then you came in and you found a team of people, right? That's when you defined your enemies and you defined your tribe. And you were like, yes, these are my people. And then somebody sits down and goes, there's a thing called monetization on YouTube, James. You know, there's a thing that does this, right? And you get around these people that are like, no, I got you because I've already screwed this up. Let's go here. And then it's like a faucet turns on. And then the world, all of a sudden, the world hands you a microphone.
Oh, man. This whole thing here, you're talking about, until you put on your cape, man, you have no idea what's coming your way. You didn't know that there's a Justice League, that there's somebody out there waiting on you. And then the things that I've learned is that the people who I thought were my enemies were wrong. You see, those people that I called haters, those people I had already surpassed. They were afraid of losing you because it's a reminder of them that they haven't done anything. That's the wrong way to look. That was a prison. Man, my circle is different than my cage. In my cage, the gate was already open all along. I just didn't realize it. That the threats of what they would do to me, they're going to say something about me. I'm not good enough. I'll never be loved. I'll never be accepted. It's a shame. It's too late for me. I'm too old. No, man, I'm the right age. I'm right now. Like wine, I got better with age. I just didn't know it. And then when folks told me how to make some money from what I'd done, because I thought, no, you got to, your passion can be one thing, right? Your profit corrupts it. And then, like I said, I saw that Mother Teresa had a jet. I said, ain't that something? I can't walk one place at a time. But now I have more income than I've ever had. And the money didn't change me. It only enabled me to get out there further and do more. That's right. Now I can leave a legacy. Now I can leave an inheritance other than words.
Right. Well, I know the three of us are touched by you, your story, and what you've shared with us, right? You have impacted us, which the overall goal of this entire division that we've put together here with One Life is to say, how do we impact other people? And then you and I connect you with the guys, right? And it's like there's synergy that explodes. And I'm truly grateful that you were able to carve out time twice, right, to come on and share this with us, because I do believe more people need to know James E. Dixon.
Man,
Absolutely.
thank you, brother. You guys, you've taken my little one life and you extended it into other lives. And because of that, they say that your name gets erased after the last person knows you dies. Not this case. We've made a digital footprint that will last forever. Our great-grandchildren will watch and know our story, know our passion. And one day they'll outage us and still have these access to all of our thoughts and our opinions and our influence and impact because of one life.
Awesome.
Goosebumps.
Thanks so much, James, for coming over and impacting that, sharing, what we're doing. You the man. If I had a mic, I would just drop it right now.
Oh, thank you, man. I just try not to be a CrossFitter. Hey, man, come on.
He's proof Superman is for real, right? So I would recommend everybody go out there, follow James Dixon, because you deserve to hear James Dixon.
Yeah. This is unbelievable. This is going to speak into millions more. Thank you so much.
Appreciate you, James.
Thank you, guys.
Peace.
You're muted.
All right, perfect. There
we go.
Done. James, thank you.
I'm gonna look like an idiot on this thing because I was smiling like crazy. Like more. But I was jazzed the entire time.
Man, thank you guys for having me on. Thanks for even making a remix of the recording for me, man.
Thanks for getting our room.
Man, I stopped at hotel and said, "Hey, let me go get a meeting room. It's $300, sir." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." I got in here. I said, "Ain't this a damn?" Well,
you should have got a hotel.
I should have just went ahead and just said, I might as well just stay in this damn room now. There's no sense. Bring a cot in here.
Right.
Guys, thank you, man. I really appreciate you, man. I really do. Man, I count it a joy. People were like, "Hey,